live.
We're live. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Nerdy Up North podcast. It's a nerdy podcast hosted by another nerds. I am one of your hosts, Sam.
And I am the other host, Paul, who is joined by one half of the best podcast on the interweb. I'm sorry, Sammy.
Hey,
The
I'd
women of
agree. I
nerd
agree.
culture herself, Becca. How are you, young
Thank you.
lady?
I'm okay. I'm a little bit overwhelmed already because you've said nice things, so stop it.
It's the
Well-
weekend of Becca.
I know, and I am completely overwhelmed with this. You know, I've had Friday night where I've been scared out of my wits. Thanks, Chris and Donna. And then we've obviously had our episode yesterday, and then today you've allowed me to come on and I get to talk about one of my favorite things. So
And you also did the trailer reactions with us.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. Yes. Oh my
You've
God,
been
I've
a
done
busy weekend.
I've done 5 different podcasts this weekend.
Oh, the trailer reactions wasn't a podcast. It's like the Top Grumps thing. It's just a web series, so it's fine.
Yeah.
It's a side quest.
Side quest, yeah.
Side
It's just
quest,
not important.
yes.
But yeah, look at Jake getting jealous in the chat already. It's all the popcorn contest. It's only because everyone's always nice to us, unlike Jake, who's just constantly mean to us, making us feel like I'm gonna cry in me sleep. That's why, Jake. That's why I love everyone. But yeah, anyway.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Welcome to Sunday.
It is Sunday. It is fun day. It is where the magic happens, apparently. Also, I'll keep getting told. Yes, and we have a chat full of nerds as well. So thank you for everyone for joining us. These are all excited for Morphin Time, I suppose. So, Sammy, do you want to hit that disclaimer?
I think I should before I say anything out of line. So, everything discussed in today's episode is our opinions and our opinions alone. If you'd like to discuss anything from today's episode, please come and join us on the Facebook page. You can join us in the Discord or in the comments section where we can have an open discussion. About what we won't have is anyone coming for us and telling us our opinions are wrong, because we can all agree to disagree in fandom. So, let's keep it fun, keep it kind, and keep the toxic behaviour out of nerdism.
And we do try. We very much do try. Yes.
And we've been trying for like 4 years now, so like the mission statement is there. It's strong. It's
still
strong.
there. It's still there. Still keep going. I think there's a
Ooh,
and if you
bright.
notice as well, and if you notice as well, there's a space on the page on the screen there, because there was meant to be a 4th member tonight, but Jake decided he wanted to go to Blackpool and play with dinosaurs. So yes.
He's still doing the Power Ranger thing though. He's still there with dinosaurs. That's allowed, you know. He's still there.
He's wearing the helmet.
Oh shit, yeah. You reckon?
But yes.
I just asked him if he kept saying welcome to Jurassic Park. Because I would have.
Not like you're obsessed or anything, that's fine.
I just like saying it. So I've got the taglines for this movie. That is so bright. I'm so sorry. Okay. A gift you know they'll love. As a Christmas home edition video, TV advertising. Tagline.
That's a tagline?
Yes, yeah. Tagline.
Okay.
6 teenagers have discovered the power of fight. What? 6 teenagers have discovered the power to fight the forces of evil. Now the fate of the universe is in their hands.
Oh dear.
Yeah, gets worse. The power of teamwork overcomes all.
That's the new Nerdy Up North motto.
Yeah. Maybe this one might be the power is on.
On what? Is it the kettle's on? The cougar?
On. Power's on.
The power's on.
Each has power. Each has purpose. And together they will face their greatest adventure.
Oh dear.
And my favourite and final one. You ooze, you lose.
My favourite one. It's the only one I know. It's the only one I know.
What a bad guy Ivan Ooze. But I know I messaged you before asking if you could prepare something for us as well there, Sammy. Did you get it prepared?
Maybe.
That's just scrambles now.
Totally forgot. Well, while I scramble for that, why don't I paint a picture of where we are in 1995.
Right.
This Power Rangers movie hits. Also in the world, you have Windows 95 being released. You
The
also
greatest
have
Windows, just
of
saying.
all time.
Yeah.
That was advertised by the Friends cast. I watched the advert today. The Oklahoma City bombing happened in 1995.
Oh, just take a
We-
different tone. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. eBay was launched in 1995.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. The internet was just starting. That is your 95 without me going into any
And that's when
more.
everyone used the modem where they used to scream going,
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
It was so hard to get
Fine.
porn in them days as well.
Just pixelated.
Pixelated. Pixelated the screen. It's
We'll
frozen
get
on
to
the
the
nipple. I've got
boobs.
half a nipple.
Yeah,
It's a good
that
half
is
though. It's all good.
without me going into a morbid side of 95.
Mhm.
That was your 95. That's where you were.
Right.
There was some stuff in physics as well that happened.
So,
But yeah.
so Becca, where were you in '95?
I was in primary school. So
Wow.
I would have been 6 or 7-ish, I think. Yeah,
Right.
6 or 7. Yeah, more 7, I
Mhm.
think. And I was obsessed with Power Rangers. This was me living my best life, pretending to be the Yellow Power Ranger, but pretty much 93, 94, 95, 96.
Till
That
today.
was well, yeah, I haven't really changed much. I would pick up a morpho. I would become a Power Ranger. You know, there's no excuse. I would be that person. But yes, this film is a massive part of my childhood.
Mm.
I can remember getting it for Christmas,
Mhm.
and I don't remember if I watched it. I've got a bit of a foggy memory, but I can remember literally sitting on the edge of the sofa and watching it. I don't know whether
Mhm.
this was my second or third viewing because I'd watched it about 3 or 4 times over Christmas Day. But I can remember that, and I can remember telling my cousins off for interrupting me because
Mm.
I wanted to say one of the most important lines in the film is, "Where's my autograph book?" I wanted to say that line and they were interrupting me. I can vividly remember it. So I apologize to my cousins if they're ever watching for being that person when I was 7 because
Fine.
that was me. I should have interrupted you. But yes, so this film was a very, very, very big part of me, and I watch it quite regularly. And I was really disappointed that I haven't actually got it on any streaming service today.
Yeah.
I had to
Um,
rent it.
Why? It's on YouTube.
I didn't know that.
That's
Now
where
you
Sammy
tell me.
checks it out first of all. Is any film
it's
that's out there,
on
is
it's
it on
on
YouTube?
YouTube. Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me because Power Rangers have learned if they put stuff on YouTube, people will watch it and they make more money.
Right,
Um,
okay. So this is the
because
When
hopes
I
for Nerdy Up North. Come on, Power
yeah,
Ranger money.
Yay!
We want the
yeah,
When
Power
I
Ranger pound. Um,
when I went to watch it, when I went to go and look at the world that was 1995,
mhm.
it was actually in the list. You know how you get like a list of things coming
yeah,
up? It was
Yeah.
actually there as the whole movie.
that's
The
amazing.
whole 1 hour 30 fucking minutes of it.
Well,
Um
I've got a story to tell about the Power Rangers movie as well.
okay.
Okay.
So I don't know if I've told this on a previous podcast, but I probably have because it's Tales of Paul as a youngin. You know, good
Sit
old
back,
Paul
people.
who
This is gonna get interesting.
Get
just
get a cup
it's
of
not as
tea.
interesting as other
It's
previous
eating the
ones.
rocks.
Like no, it's not chewing rocks or sitting in someone else's piss. No. Um. So, like, say as it like when this came out, I was about 13, 14, I think.
Yeah,
In
I was 12. So
2095,
yeah.
so 13, 14. Um, at this time, I was living in Ryop, and anyone who lives in knows of Ryop, it is a pretty dodgy place. It's got, especially if you're a kid of this age, there was a few things you could do on a weekend or on a night time to entertain yourself. It was either go meet your mates in the middle of a field and drink some cider or drink some Lambrisco or White Lightning, as it was called as well.
Yep.
£1 a bottle, I think it was, for a litre. It was, like I say, good
Those were the
old times.
days.
Um, or like I say, especially in Riot, they used to go around twocking cars. So and again,
Walking.
twocking is a word, yeah. Twocking cars used to happen. I was too innocent, and again, as still now, I do think I have a good moral compass. I would not go and join the talking of the cars. I would go to the cinema by myself. So I used to have a TSB bank account where, as long as you put £5 in your bank account each month, you were sent 4 tickets per month to the cinema.
That's such a good deal.
That's such a really good deal.
Now it is. Back
now
then
it
was
is,
like
given that it's like 12 quid just to go and see a movie.
Yeah. So yeah, I used to go to on a Saturday. I used to see 2 movies because I used to have 4 tickets, so two, or depends what was out. And when I went to pictures, there was only one movie out that week. It wasn't a big release day. It was Power Rangers, and it wasn't on the ABC and next to what's now a big nightclub in Sunderland Town Centre. It was the old side cinema at the Empire, or theatre, where I used to have a little offshoot where I used to go in, and the screen was no bigger than probably, well, put it this way, Sammy's TV was a bigger screen than that screen at the Empire.
Wow.
So
I have a big telly.
Yeah.
she's got a big one. That's what she said.
That's what she said.
So I went to see it there, and again, tales of people feeling sorry for Paul. When I used to go to the pictures by myself, I used to go make sure because I used to love being at the front of the line. You know why? Because when
Why?
people's families used to come, they used to feel sorry for us and kind of adopt us for the day
Oh.
and buy us free ice cream.
And you're like, I want to do this by myself. I'm a big boy now.
I'm just a kid. They used to go, they used to say adopt us for that time. Come and sit with me, talk to the other kids. I used to get a free ice cream, free drink. It used to be class. It used to be a little ploy for the day, to try and make
so
other families feel sorry for the working class northerner.
You wanted them to feel sorry for you. I want them to step away from us.
But no, it was a different time back then. It was a different time. But
oh, bless
the problem
you,
with this movie as
man.
well, because it was a slow movie month,
Mm.
the next week when I had my cinema tickets to go to the cinema, guess what was the only movie on again? so I had to
you
see
put yourself through
Power
it twice?
Rangers twice.
Oh, crikey.
Yes.
The chat are just having a discussion about the word twok.
Yeah.
Because Phoebe, obviously
Phoebe
clearly
and a
isn't.
butler.
Is clearly not
she's
from
like,
the
Jeeves,
north.
what does twalk mean? Can I go and twalk and Waitrose?
So
You guys are mean.
Just so you know, it is in northern term. Chris is right. It's taken without owner's consent. It's an awful word, but it is a northern one.
It's
But
so an awful word.
let's be like, the problem is when you're knocked about with like kids or people in certain areas. Used to be people that used to go around saying, "I'm part of the Riot Twok Squad," or I'm a townie Twok Squad. Like if you lived near the town centre, there used to be these kind of weirdos that still kick about in Sunderland.
Shiny Raw is Shiny Raw Aggro Boys. So you'll see the word scrab written across Shiny. It means Shiny Raw Aggro Boys.
That's hilarious.
Bunch of fucking idiots.
I am learning a lot.
We speak in slang, and Kelly will appear in the chat.
These are my brethren.
I am here. I have found it, by the way.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So everyone go quiet. This is going to be a moment. A moment
it's gonna be
for Sammy.
Fucking something. The dyslexic is going to try and say words. In a time of great strife, a legendary interdimensional being known as Zordon came to the city of Angel Grove to establish a vanguard in the never-ending struggle against evil. With the aid of his trusted assistant Alpha 5, the Noble Master sought out 6 extraordinary teenagers and give them the power to transform into unstoppable fighting force. In time of great need, the young heroes could now call upon colossal assault vehicles, known as Zords. While the identity of the 6 remained a guarded secret, their courageous exploits soon became the stuff of legend, earning them the title, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
It's Morphin Time!
Beautiful.
It was something.
That was the Star Wars moment at the beginning.
Yes.
Like
I say, it was a crawl. It did have its crawl.
It was.
It did.
It was a Star Wars moment.
Alpha 5 though can get in the fucking bin. I can't remember that little droid being as annoying. Ay, ay, ay. What the fuck was that?
No, he is that annoying, but this is the only Power Ranger thing that's 100% American footage until
Yes.
like
Yeah,
just last year or the year before.
yeah,
Because originally they were meant to make it so that it was in the same style as the television show. But
right.
they obviously got a budget increase. So they were like, oh, okay, we're going to do our own thing. And this is what
Okay,
we got.
I'm gonna set you where I am. I never saw this movie at all
Mhm,
until a few years ago, and I must say it must have been around 2013.
mhm,
Okay.
And I fell asleep halfway through it.
right.
I watched it again today,
Mhm.
and I fell asleep halfway through it for about 5 minutes, and then I woke up and realized, no, I really do have to watch this. So I continued to watch. I got a bit of a shock, I'm not gonna lie, because I
Mhm.
didn't realize that the Red Ranger and the Black Ranger and the Yellow Ranger, I mean, I guess the Yellow Ranger might not be there for obvious reasons, but the other two, I was like, um,
Yes.
where the fuck are these Rangers
Okay,
gone?
so originally they were meant to have been in the movie, but there was a contract issue just before they started filming. And in the show, we got Aisha, Rocky, and Adam to replace
Yeah.
them.
Mhm.
Apparently this is common knowledge because Ant was
Yeah,
like, well, yeah, these
yeah,
kind of
because
these were in it before the movie. I was
yeah,
like,
Mhm.
I didn't know.
yeah. So they were in it from I think maybe halfway through season two.
Mhm.
Right.
Without going to look in Wikipedia or some type
Mhm.
of
I believe
thing.
you.
Yeah, so they came through about halfway through due to contract issues. So they never got to appear in the movie, but the Red Ranger did later appear in the next movie.
Mhm.
Right. I was very confused, but apparently it was common knowledge because Ant
Yeah,
was like, well, yeah, they were in the series, and then obviously they're
yeah,
going to be
because
in the film.
Yeah, because
obviously Jason, Trini, and Zach, they literally disappear halfway through
mhm.
second
Is
series. And
she's still alive at this point? Yeah.
yes, so she passes away in 2001.
Oh God, was it that late on?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Wow, I thought it was kind of earlier than that. Okay.
no, it was just after The Crow, I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
just after The Crow, because The Crow was delayed filming so that they could
Mm.
sort of try and sort out the film, and then
Right.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because as like my Power Ranger knowledge until seeing the movie as a young kid was only up to the Green Power Ranger
yes,
introduced.
yeah,
So when I saw they were making a movie, I was like, okay, I'll know some of the characters. Fair enough, cast do change from time to time, but I was surprised to seeing the White Ranger. Well, Tommy wearing the White Ranger suit. I was like,
yes.
where's the green? Because the green, let's be honest, the green looked better.
Yeah.
Yes, but obviously that was changed because they ran out of Sentai footage, and the Sentai footage that they had, which is the Japanese version of Power Rangers, didn't
Mhm.
line up. So originally, that actor was not meant to have come back. It was meant to be a completely different role. But obviously parents were like, we want Jason David Frank back. We want him back. So they kind of brought him back for that role, and he became like that footage that we see of the White Ranger is
Yeah.
actually a completely different Japanese series, like
Mhm.
Sentai series to the one that Mighty Morphin comes from. So
Right.
they literally
Oh my God, this is so complex.
it is.
Like,
But obviously I
like,
didn't know any of this as a child.
No,
This is
no,
stuff that I've
no,
learned
no.
later on.
yeah. But you obviously probably knew this for quite some time. I
Yeah.
only found this out just before, so probably around 2013, when we were watching this film. We were in our flat, and I will always remember Anth showing us footage of the Power Rangers that I knew growing up,
Mhm.
and then the Sentai Power Rangers,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I went into mourning for about
Yeah.
a week
Oh
because my
bless you.
illusions of my childhood were shattered.
Well, did you
Yeah.
ever watch that the show on Netflix, The Toys That Made Us?
Yes,
They did a Power Ranger one, didn't they?
yeah, they
Yeah.
did.
And it went into quite a lot of detail of like how it came about and like how shrewd the person who owned the rights was. Who was just like, I
Mhm.
want to sell the toys. I want to sell these. I'm just going to cut this things and make some kind of weird show that didn't make any sense. Or like, and again, it didn't. the I hate to give it credit. It was so cleverly done because it's like, oh, we can into like splice certain aspects and take certain things, and it was, again, it's not like it's not a direct rip off. It is a rip off of the Sentai stuff, but it's done so well. Um, but again, coming back to the movie, the big thing that shocked me when I first, like, when I watched this at the pictures, as Becca said, they give him a budget, went, let's have fun with it. When they put the kind of like the X-Men style muscle rips on the suits, like all the suits weren't just like the lycra like bodysuits anymore. They were like padded. That looks like they had thing. It was like, oh shit. And then they got the helmets to do different things. It's like, oh, it's too dark, and she's like, I'll activate torches, and then the
Yeah,
eyes turn into
I
torches,
love
and
that.
just suddenly just change. There's no morph. It's just like there's lights, and he said, okay, go into scanner mode, and then his headset goes out. I'm like, this is mental.
Yes.
But my memory of as a kid, because I remember enjoying it at the cinema, but being like a kid, just like saying, "Oh yeah, big fights, big first time seeing CGI, like done as well. Well, not done well, but done as as
It
that
it was
aspect."
probably one of the best CGIs at that time. To be
Mm.
fair,
Mm.
like
Yeah, it was no,
compared to some of
yeah,
the stuff that we got in that year, it's probably one
mm,
of the best.
true. If you look at like Mortal Kombat Annihilation, yes,
Yeah,
it did better than that.
yeah. There are some dodgy ones that year.
Yeah.
Oh, what I took away from it on a rewatch was how how it was aimed at children. Do you
Mm,
remember when we talked about this before with Batman, where it's
mhm.
very you can tell why and how this movie was made
Yes.
because you could see every toy that was
Yeah.
moving around, and I was like, oh, things don't change, do they? But I gotta say, I kind of like the bad guy.
I
I thought
love
his
Ivan
costume,
Ooze.
Ooze. I love
yeah,
Ooze.
I thought his costume was absolutely phenomenal.
Mhm.
The colors of him were amazing. Love the fact that he shut Rita up. Thought that was
Oh,
great.
100%. One of the best moments.
That is clearly not the original Rita, is it? Because she's
No,
the one
No,
from the original. Yeah,
they did
she's the one that takes
did
did
a
over.
good.
well.
Yeah, you would have to look really hard to notice the
Yeah,
big difference. But I was impressed, like the glow up Lord Zed got. He looked amazing. Like his
he
outfit,
did.
the practical effects on like everything just shone and just looked amazing. I was like, I think the budget must have went completely on his outfit.
I think so. I've seen some things around that. I think I saw a making of episode or something many, many years ago, and how they did like the brain part of like the outfit and stuff, how
Mm,
they designed that was amazing. I was like,
Mhm.
wow, like
mm.
they had a massive budget, and yeah, they did go over it from what I can gather, because they had to film like some of the TV show episodes out in Australia
Right.
to just kind of save money on obviously getting people back to America to film it. So that's
Mm.
why there are some episodes actually in Australia in the TV show, because they
So
filmed it while they were out there.
let's save some money on
Yeah.
this. I did like their use of silicone when it come to their creatures. I
Yes.
appreciated that massively. I thought it really fit the
Goldar.
Yes.
yeah,
I love
yeah.
Goldar.
I absolutely loved it. The costumes on the Rangers were fantastic. The
Mm,
only issue I have with this is I'm 41, nearly 42 now.
mhm.
And that spark's kind of gone for me.
Oh, you're dead
Um
inside now. Is that what you're trying to tell us?
I'm trying not to be. But no, you say that I say that, but look at how I went on over Street Fighter and
Yeah.
Mario. So clearly there's still something there, but
Yeah.
Mm,
for Power Rangers, I didn't really have that kind of connection like what you two probably did. Yes, I
mhm,
used to watch it, and yes, I used to pretend that I was the pink Power Ranger when I was playing with my cousins,
mhm.
but that's really as far as it went. I didn't have an infinitive love for
Yeah.
it that continued on, even though I was devastated when I found out how it was made.
I still
That's
laugh.
true.
Like, say, if I go back to, like, say, Paul in the cinema watching it, there was aspects to the movie that blew my mind in the cinema. Then watching it back now, it's like, oh, why did you like that as much? Like in aspects, not the movie, like because the thing that always I loved about Power Rangers was the fight scenes. If
Yeah.
you go back to the original TV show, it was always done well. It was always done snappy edits, done. the movie, they try to be extra clever by putting extra spins or weird things that didn't like mathematically. Or I know it's like a film about giant Zords, for God's sake, but like there's one bit where Tommy's kind of like cornered in by the ooze drop, the snot droops, oozes. He jumps and just does like a spin, keeps on spinning in the air, like
Yeah.
almost like does like a hurricane, like tornado out of the place. I'm like, that looked so bad. Why did I love that as a kid?
I have a very similar moment, and it's when I think it's when they're in the quarry, and you've got Kimberly who's backflipping, and then
Yeah.
you've got Billy who joins her in the backflipping, and they do that coordinated backflip instead of just running.
Yeah.
They're backflipping, and I'm just like, why did you like this though? What?
But that
Why?
they do
Because
everything
backflips are cool, man.
I know, but that's the thing. They do everything in the most awkward and like nonsensical way. It's like, yeah, and like as Becca said, when they're getting cornered, so it's like, oh, instead of just running and going thing, they decide to backflip. Then they go, oh, that's a good idea. I'll backflip. So they both them backflipping over, and it's like,
hey,
what?
let's all backflip. I love it. I love
David
Frank. He was adorable in this, mind. Like
He
Oh my
couldn't
God,
act,
yeah.
though.
Oh no, he couldn't. But what really surprised us, and I mentioned this to Paul before we started recording, Amy Jo Johnson. I always thought she had something about her. Like she, to me, as a Pink Power Ranger, when I used to watch the series, I was like, yeah, I get it. You fit this part perfectly. Holy shit, the fucking dialogue that she had in this movie when she's standing in front of Zord, and is it Zord the big head?
Zordon.
Sauron.
Yeah, the big head thing, and he's lying down. She's like, "But you're like a father to us, Amy Jo Johnson.
Yeah.
Deliver your lines better." That was terrible.
And she looked about 30 in this as well. Just saying.
Yeah.
She looked all right, and the amount of high fives. I mean, I like my friends, but I ain't gonna high five you every 2 minutes just because I did this really amazing skatey
You
thing.
do realise you've said that now. Anytime
Everyone's
that you're
gonna
going
high
out with
five us.
Chris is going to be trying to high five you. He's just like, that's going to be like
his
the
new
new
challenge.
thing now.
Yeah, I realised what I was saying when it came out my mouth.
But
Giving
yeah,
them
I
ideas.
feel like a lot of this is just it is over the top. It's very much over the top, and I very much do have a love for it. But I am not so got my rose tinted glasses on that I am not
I
fully
get
aware
it.
that it's
Yeah.
that some of the things at the age of 36 are not the same as when I was 7. You know.
I totally get that. There's some films that I've reviewed where I've went, listen, I'm not daft. Like I know fine well that how this movie comes across, but there's still a tiny bit of it still part of it, even though I know it's shit.
Yeah.
The problem is, and again, I think this is when we do these podcasts. Nostalgia is strong with a lot of the things we do choose,
Yeah,
and
it's
this
true.
one has a huge amount of nostalgia. And you've got to think about it. Like fair enough, I enjoyed this as a 13, 14-year-old boy. Imagine watching this movie as an 8-year-old or a 7-year-old. Stop high-fiving Chris. I saw that.
I was the one to say you hated.
But imagine, like say, seeing all these aspects. There's a everyone loved slime as a kid, so having an ooze monster that had this brain controlled slime that made adults do whatever you want. Amazing premise. You had some of the best kung fu fighting scenes for kids fighting monsters that you've ever seen. Superhero outfits that are straight off a comic books like page, and bad guys and monsters that were just interesting. Look, they weren't just like, oh, people in a suit. Like he had like Ivan Ooze had this weird like tentacle beard that just obsessed. Lord Zed had like a half brain hang said. Rita Repulsa is just one of the batshit crazy outfits they were saying. Then you've got Goldar, this golden flying were donkey type thing, which is basically just like like just when he flies away at the end, it's like no motion, no wingspan. It's just like I'm up and away. It's like it's hilarious. And that pig, I don't know what the pig was or why the pig was there, but it was hilarious.
The pig is just there. He appears nowhere else in any other Power Ranger thing. He is just there purely for that. because I think they didn't want to spend more money on getting the normal baboon and I think squawk. They didn't want to get those characters involved, so instead of having two, they just created this new creature. And he
Also,
is
amazing toy.
yes.
It would have
Can we
been an
just
amazing
say
toy.
though, let's talk about the premise or the plot of this movie.
There was one.
Not there was, but
There was.
like they made mistakes, shall we say? Like Ivan Ooze, the scourge of the universe, was going to be taken down the universe. It was defeated and buried in underground, not that deep underground, in some kind of weird gothic egg and hand type thing that looked phenomenal. But they buried him next to his instruments of destruction just
Why
cause.
not?
Like it's
Why?
like why not spread them across the galaxy?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Yeah. So when he was like kind of rebirthed, he goes on a rampage and attacks Power Ranger HQ, takes out the floating head. That turns out he's just like
Zordon.
Zordon, just a man in like a fortress of solitude type ice
Yeah,
chamber.
it was very
It
crystals and like,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Very, yeah. It give off that. That was a bit weird for me because I've always known him as a giant head.
Yeah,
So
budget.
to make him as a person was like,
Oh, but it's giving the
choices.
actor dues. It's giving the actor something
Yeah.
like a bit more than just like a floating head. But then fire the Power Rangers off across the galaxy to this hidden planet. And this is where it gets interesting because that planet was the best thing in this movie. Like all
Yes.
them monsters on there. That skeleton fighting the Power Rangers was just one of the best things I've ever seen. It reminds us of like Jurassic Park versus like the Funny Bones or something like that.
Yes.
The funny buns.
Yes. I'm very disappointed with what I found out later on after I obviously watched it as a kid, as this planet was meant to have more. But originally we had Gabrielle Fitzpatrick, who's the actress that we see in the show, but she had an cyst, so she actually had to leave for medical treatment, and they recast the role.
Right.
They recast the role with the lady from Law and Order SUV. Yeah.
Mariska Hargitay.
Yes.
Anthony told me this the other day, and it blew my mind.
It blew my mind.
It.
So they actually filmed scenes where they had other creatures like on the planet with like they had a strange, it was like a puppet type animal that they had. They had all these scenes, but they didn't like her in the role. So she literally went home for Christmas and they never called her back. But by that time, Gabrielle Fitzpatrick was available, so she came back and they couldn't refilm all the scenes, but they filmed enough for her to have a sort of a centralized role. That's why for like the end part of it, they have the owl because they just ran out of time. So they literally just grabbed an owl and just did all these scenes.
You're an owl now.
Yeah.
That's why she turns into an owl, because they ran out of time and budget and all of those things too.
That's so crazy. That is so crazy. And literally, because I'm back watching SVU again, and obviously Mariska Hargitay is in that. And he told us about it, and I was like, keep that until next week because I'll need it. And then I totally forgot about it. And the minute you mentioned SVU, I was like, oh shit, Mariska Hargitay. Live.
This is where again the Power Rangers try and keep up or try and stay on top of what's popular or pop culture at the time. Because what was big during the mid to late 90s? Ninjas. So they changed from just not just Power Rangers to Ninja Power Rangers.
Ninjas. That was that. I didn't like them suits.
No, you can tell they didn't stay with it that long.
No, it was a choice, and this is where I must have fallen asleep because they were in them. They introduced the animals that was on their chest, and then when I woke up, they were back in their suits.
Yeah.
So Becca, with you being a Power Ranger aficionado, did you like the animals or did you prefer the dinosaurs?
I preferred the animals. I liked them.
All right.
I did. I liked them. But also, I think it was more the fact that obviously they had to change to the animals because they had to have new Zord footage.
Yeah.
That's why obviously it's changed from dinosaurs to these animals because they needed different Zord footage. And that's why they changed. They've got the ninjetti suits because they needed new footage. So a lot of these choices they've done are that. But yeah, no, I preferred the animals
Right,
purely because
interesting.
I love the Zord look.
Right.
But yeah, it's a personal choice. I know
Yeah.
a lot of people are like, oh, it's OG. I like dinosaurs. But I don't. I'm happy to go with the flow. I quite like the second lot of animals.
Yeah.
I even like the third lot of the Zords they get later on when it all goes a bit wrong. So you know,
Yeah.
I'm quite happy.
You're just
I'm
happy
not
to see a
fussy.
Zord. That's I think that's what we're establishing.
I'm
Becca's just
just happy.
a Zord fan.
I'm just happy to have Power Rangers. To be fair.
I love Jake's last comment. I'm a frog.
Yeah.
Oh, I know, but that was an ad lib because obviously that wasn't in the original script, and he just added that, and it
Mm.
stuck and stayed in the movie.
You
There
would
is
be
a
a bit
lot.
down if you were a frog, though, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
Like
you
everyone
would
else is getting
be.
like the bear,
Yeah,
the
Please.
wolf, the frog.
The
yeah,
tiger. You get the frog. Yeah,
yeah,
I get that. I'd be pissed too. Even
Mhm.
if she did give us a kiss on the cheek, it still wasn't enough to like. I'd
Yeah.
still be.
It felt a little bit strange that they had to go to like space, and Dulcur, I think it was called, was in this like Xena the Warrior Princess type
yeah,
green outfit. I was like, okay, can we get a more scantily clad women? Do these
yeah,
barren
I
wastelands
was
not need
very,
clothes?
very lost when she came in. I was like, "And who are you?
yeah,
And why are you here? Have we gone to Xena, Warrior
yeah.
Princess, or something?"
I like to treat this movie as a completely alternate universe.
Yeah.
And that's how
Okay.
that's how
Mhm.
I treat it in my head because it has
The
no connection
multiverse
to
of
anything.
ranges.
Well, that is a thing. But yeah, no, this film is completely alternate universe to the series.
I know, I get that, and you can get the feel as well. Now, there's this is where the film has its strong points, because when it uses practical effects, it does it really well. Because it gets to like when they're going to get the ultimate power, they've got the kind of rock monsters to fight,
Yeah,
and that is really really entertaining. The way they do it, and the fight scenes for that is probably the best fight scenes in the
yeah,
movie.
yeah,
Like this is where you get to see them working as a team. You see the Red Ranger being an absolute idiot. Like he seems to like just mess up on all different types of tasks or things by rushing headstrong into danger and say, "I'll help you," without really thinking like what's going on. They kind of bumble their way around and like get through, but it's again, it's like a almost like a computer game at this stage. It's like this is the next level boss. This is the boss that
yeah.
we're fighting now. But I thought that fight scene with the stone monsters was absolutely really entertaining and really well done.
Yeah, I love this scene. It just because it kind of gives us a hint of the fact that their fighting styles have ever so slightly changed.
Mhm.
Um, in this because obviously they've got the ninja outfits and it's really subtle, but I didn't notice it until actually the watch that I did today.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, no, it's and the monsters themselves, they are
Mhm.
amazing. You know, they are 1995, and you could see like where the costumes have got like shin pads and things like that.
Mhm.
And I think it's so good. Like what they've done with what they had in 95. This movie for the costumes and stuff, I think it's even
Yeah.
though the actors absolutely hated their outfits, they hated the suits, they hated, you know,
Mhm.
not many people liked being in any of the outfits they
No,
had.
no.
I just think it's so well done.
No, I will give it credit for when they
Yeah,
do
yeah.
things right, it's done well. Um, again, it's hilarious when you're watching it back and you see like certain aspects to it. Like the only thing that made us absolutely cry with laughing, because normally when they say, "Oh, like they're kind of morphing up to get the next stage or the power up type stage," because they've already got the ninja suits on, and the like power up in the ninja suits, and all it does is put the hood up and like there,
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, they it kind of like I was like, oh, that would be less comfortable fighting in that
yeah,
style than fighting the other style. Um, but when they get the power, they get the old suits back. That has completely confused us as well again.
yeah, and that's definitely down to budget and
Yeah.
how they wanted it to be in the main show. Because obviously the episode where the kind of roll of episodes that we get for the television series, they then still have the same suits. So I think they
Mhm.
were trying to keep that part of the story
Oh, which is
cohesive the best
understandable.
they
And
could.
again,
Yeah,
like if we look about iconic outfits throughout, like not just like the 90s, if you go back from the 80s, 70s, like the Power Rangers, if you put a Power Ranger outfit up in front of someone, you would instantly know that's a Power Ranger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
instantly recognizable.
Yeah, even if you just put
Regardless
like a
of
few colors next to each other, you go, yeah, Power Rangers.
yeah.
Like there's certain symbols of certain viewpoints. So if they move too far away from that, there's the real thing that a lot of like say franchises did is alienating the audience. Because they were taking massive risks anyway with a lot of the stuff they were doing, but it's like you don't want to go too far. So that was probably my viewpoint as a cynic now, but back then I probably didn't even notice. I was like
Yeah.
glad they got back in the suits.
Yeah.
But again, this is probably again down to me being an original Power Ranger like watcher as a kid. I loved it when they called the Power Rangers like the Zords when they were kids, and they're like the ones that could fly were flying over, the ones that were like powering through, bounding through like trees and stuff. It was so entertaining to watch. So when they called the new Zords and you saw them the first time, you get, okay, I'm going to see the Zords, and you see the bear and the wolf kind of flying. It's like, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
I know that the excuse is they're coming from space, they're coming
Yeah.
from whatever planet they've just come from, but it's kind of like it kind of lost a little bit of that nostalgia vibe for me.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Oh.
I don't overly like the Zords format in this.
Mm,
Because it is the movie. It's
yeah.
done in a very, very different style to the television show.
Mm,
But I can't deny I do like the graphics. I
yeah.
do
No.
like the way they do it. The only comment I've got is some of the Zords you can't really see the colors of
No.
them, like how they match the Ranger. I find
Yeah.
that it's very black and white and very metallic. Instead of it being that you're not able to see the yellow on the bear.
Mm,
And I think it was I want to say pink Zord. It's more white.
mm,
But yeah, I think they did the best that they could with the designs they were given.
yeah. And as I said, they went more ninja style with the actual Megazord when it all got together. But I know
Yeah,
we've jumped to this part as well, but we haven't even talked about one of the most craziest things in this movie. That opening. That like I didn't have a clue what was going on. They're in the airplane, they're jumping out. It was like,
yeah.
what's going on?
Why is is it Skull and Bulk? Bulk and
Yeah,
Yeah.
Skull?
Bulk and Skulls.
Why are you in with the Power Rangers? To be honest, my favorite people in this
Yeah,
movie. They are exactly they are exactly the same as I remember them.
yeah,
So I was like, you get it. Like you guys get it. And I totally appreciate them. But yeah, jumping out of a plane. Sorry,
yeah.
Binks had a can on the side and Binks got his tail and swiped it off and it's gone halfway across the
Oh
room.
no.
Oh dear.
Are you okay?
Oh,
Sorry.
bless them. But
Sorry,
yeah,
he's
no,
just a bit shocked.
it was obviously it was the raising money for it was the jump-a-thon raising money for the
Yeah.
observatory, which is so random that they're doing it,
But
how they're doing it.
wasn't it that they had to hit the target and like
Yeah,
everyone was like, oh, I landed in the car park, blah blah blah.
yeah,
And then the Power Rangers come down and like for some reason all the other Power Rangers are just skydiving as normal. Tommy has
yeah,
to have kind of like a snowboard, which doesn't make
yeah.
any sense because you can't snowboard on air.
Yeah, no. Even when I was back then, I think I actually remember thinking, why has he done that? Why has he got that? But it's very much a Jason David Frank thing. He has to have something that's very different
Yeah.
for him to highlight him.
Mm.
Yeah, I get that, but I was all I kept thinking of is if you had that on your feet, you're literally going to tip upside down.
Yeah,
Like, like you would not be standing upright on
No.
that thing.
no.
Great
I
angles.
just couldn't. One, I couldn't get while they're in the plane, and then as soon as they hit the ground, it's like, oh, they did a thing. Okay, now we're going to get our skates on and do this great skating montage where we just fucking high five each other everywhere, like every 2 minutes.
Yeah,
What got me the most is the Yellow Ranger. How fucking enthusiastic about life is she?
yeah,
Like everything was a high five moment, was a fist pump in the air, was a get in there. Like
yeah.
she lived her life. I'm
Yeah,
what the
and I can't argue with that. I 100% agree with that. I think this is possibly one of her first acting roles, I think.
Oh, that
Oh,
makes so
bless her.
much sense
I
then.
think I
She
think
really
so.
worked for that paycheck.
Yeah. I think I'm like 95% sure this is one of her like Power Rangers is one of her first roles.
That makes total sense. And Amy Jo Johnson is like, get me out of this program.
Well, yeah.
I think at this stage, Amy Jo Johnson was at the end of her kind of lifespan with the show. But
yeah.
Oh,
there's
I actually have a question before you jump into anything else. Is this the first movie they ever did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only because when I was looking today, there was something from '93. Is that
might
just
have
the
been a
TV
TV
show?
special.
Yeah, yeah. This is the first movie
Right.
because there's only three.
Okay.
There's only three movies. There's this one. There's the Turbo movie, which is actually set in the series, and then there's
Right.
the new. Then there's the new
one with
new one,
of
the
Pitch
reboot.
Perfect. That was
Elizabeth Banks.
Yeah.
I actually liked it. I actually quite liked it.
I liked
Me
it
and Anthony are
myself.
going to watch it at the weekend because he was, when we were talking about this, he was like, "We'll watch that at the weekend because I can't remember what happened." It's on. Yeah, this is why I asked the question earlier. Is it the '95 one we're doing? Because I generally got confused because it didn't say a movie or it just said Power Rangers and it said '93, and I was like,
That's probably the TV show.
Right. Yeah. Okay. It's a good job I didn't sit and watch that then.
So this was my little bit of a confusion about the movie as well. Again,
okay,
not slating it, but my understanding, and again, Becca will probably tell us if I'm wrong, so I'm glad she's here. My understanding is the kids in the show, their identities was always hidden. They were never known as the Power Rangers.
No.
In this movie, they basically wore like exactly the same colours of what Power Rangers in every single scenario they were in.
This is a theme across 30 years of Power Rangers.
Right.
So it's just common for them to do that.
Yeah, it's literally common, and I think it's more just to highlight. I think it's more television style.
Is it just to say this is them?
Yeah,
you don't be confused, everyone.
Yeah.
That's the Power
because at the end the kids worked it out and went, "Oh, I'm going to be a Power Ranger like yous and stuff." Like when they won the day and they've got all the fireworks saying, "Thank you, Power Rangers."
But I've got two facts around that. Do you want to hear the facts around the fireworks? Okay. So to save money at the end of the shoots, they basically threw it open to people in Australia going, "Come along to the Power Ranger party." That's how they got so many people there.
Right.
And then a radio host tried to turn it into a Meet the Power Ranger event, and then they had like issues with like security and stuff at that time.
Oh dear. So
yes.
But that's in Australia though. It was filmed. That bit was in Australia, so the Aussies are crazy.
All of it was filmed in Australia. That's why all the kids are Australian. That's why I think it's filmed in Melbourne. I want to say.
Right. Yeah.
That's why it's such a different city to what
I know in Australia. What got me was when Tommy gets a thing on his watch and he goes, and he looks around and he like looks everywhere and then he goes, "Come over in the court," and he literally takes 2 steps backwards and then all of a sudden they're transporting off into their big massive colours in the middle of the street. It's like, you did not give 2 shits about your secret identities, did you?
No.
Like, you were fine with it.
I was watching this earlier and I was having a giggle to myself because I was like, you know, this is 30 years later, and I was like, that they could answer that any point. No one would even bat an eyelid nowadays because obviously people have got smart watches and stuff. People wouldn't even batter an eyelid.
Oh yeah, I talk into mine all the time because I get because I can respond to messages, but the keyboard on it's tiny and I've got you know sausage fingers, so I just talk into my watch.
Yeah, so that was the part that I did have a good giggle at because I was like, it wouldn't matter. They could do that wherever they are.
I mean, flying off in rainbow colours might
that might be an issue.
Yeah,
but...
people might look that way for that one.
Yeah,
but the talking into a watch, I totally get.
We've got a question for Becca in the chat because I think she is the Power Ranger guru now.
Yeah, so, you are.
Jake's asking, is Ivan Ooze ever mentioned again in Power Rangers anything after this?
No, it's literally in my head an alternate universe.
Right. Okay.
Right. So that's what it's a movie only villain.
It's a shame though because he was such a fantastic idea and stuff like that, and
he was funny as well.
Yeah. Did you see who the actor was who played him?
Paul Freeman, isn't it?
Yeah, he was out of like Shaun of the Dead and stuff like that. Not was it Shaun of the Dead? Yeah, Hot Fuzz, I think. Sorry, Hot Fuzz.
Let me just Google this. What I didn't appreciate was him hocking a loogie. literally making the noise.
Yeah.
Shut up.
See, I told you.
Yeah.
He's Indiana
Shut
Jones and everything.
up.
Yeah.
That's where I know his face from.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana Jones.
Yep.
Oh, he's got a very English thespian face, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
He spent 7 hours in makeup every time to film Ivan Ooze.
he looks phenomenal. I mean, there's a set picture here where clearly the purple is it's more grey than it is purple. It
Yeah.
looks amazing. The work that's done on that face is
Yeah.
just brilliant.
And every scene that he wanted to film, to make sure his tongue and mouth were purple, he was like drinking like juice. For every scene, so that his mouth was dyed for that. That is some
I have
work
to
put
I
into
have
it.
to give him his due. He was a complete
Yeah.
professional, and he didn't look like he wasn't having fun.
No.
That's because that, as you said, spending that much time in makeup, and
Oh, it can be
as I
daunting,
said,
can't
being in
it?
something as crazy as that, like he's went from like movies like Indiana Jones to the Power Ranger movie
Yes.
where he's basically Ivan Ooze,
Yeah.
and he's
Hmm.
having to like basically when he dressed up as the wizard as well, like
Yes. That
like
was
being a
brilliant.
salesman for the
Yeah.
the ooze, like he'd
Did
done it so well. And again, that could have been just phoned in, like not really in like put the effort as it's gone, because probably the movie lives on and is strong because of the performance of him as Ivan Ooze as well.
100%. 100%.
um
Like, it's just some of the lines that he comes out with, even now 30 years on, I remember them. Like,
Hmm.
where's my autograph book? Me and my brother, we still quote that to each other 30 years on every now and then, if we're being obnoxious. So,
um we can buy a silicone face mask of Ivan Ooze
oh,
for
Right.
£30 on eBay. I just wanted to have a look to see if, because he is so toy centric. Like,
Hmm.
you
yeah,
could see the marketing team would have just been like cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Well,
And I can't seem to find anything like toy related to. Yes, there's.
there's little bits, but there's
Oh,
not
I have
much.
sorry, but Bandy Power Rangers.
Bandai,
yeah.
yeah.
Bandai, that's it. Thank you. The vintage 1995 one. It looks fucking horrific. I mean, that that
I've
is
got,
terrible.
if I'd thought about it, I actually have some Power Ranger, like the movie memorabilia. I didn't think to get it, and my daughter actually has the pink Power
Mhm.
Ranger from that film because she conned me into getting it. Um,
Conned,
Wait, there's
conned,
I went shopping with you
conned.
at the weekend, and as soon as we saw Power Ranger stuff, you turned into a completely different person. We were like, just still like going around the shop, just having a casual look. It was like, oh,
I
there's a Funko Pop with a yellow Power
one of
Ranger.
my writers actually sent me the pink one from
Oh,
Australia.
Oh my
is that from the new movie? Is
gosh.
it? That's
No,
from.
this is just Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and then obviously then I do have the ones that I did buy last week, the yellow
Yeah.
ones. So I do have like a complete girly shrine to Power Rangers.
So
Um,
is that your ranger, the yellow ranger? I always forget.
yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
yes. My ranger is the yellow one, yes, but I
So
got a pink one. I was so
so
excited.
again, not because I know like your knowledge and your love for all kinds of fandoms is out there. Like not many people
It's
can
unreal.
touch. Because like say we know how you feel about Star Trek, we know how you feel about like Doctor Who and such as this. Where did the love of the Power Rangers come from for you? Like where did it start? Sorry, I feel like I'm
I
quizzing Becca now.
no, it's absolutely fine.
Question time with Becca.
I can't remember the first time I ever watched it, but I can remember me and my brother being obsessed with it. My brother's 4 years younger than me, so
Mhm.
we kind of were maybe OG fans.
Yeah.
I can remember when the Green Ranger lost his powers, then we had the White Ranger
Mhm.
get his powers and then come back. I remember the movie, I remember the second movie, and then I
Mhm.
kind of fell off my love for Power Rangers until 2001, when they brought out Time Force, and I think we must have had Posh Cable or Posh Sky around that time, so I was actually able to watch it again, and my brother had got back into it. So I can remember watching Time Force.
Mhm.
But yeah, I just love Power Rangers. I love watching the Japanese version and I love watching the American version, all for very different reasons. Yeah. What about you guys? Because obviously I know that you do you remember watching it as a kid, like the Mighty Morphin Ball, or is it
I,
just the
I
movie and
do, because it was the annoying thing is when Power Rangers, when I was a kid, it used to be on ITV
yes,
on
ITV.
yeah,
before school,
Yep.
yeah, I
and
remember.
it used to start at because when we were kids, things never used to start at proper times. It wasn't like, oh,
No.
8 o'clock start, half eight. It used to start at 8:20
Yeah,
on a week on a school day. I had to leave for school at 25 past or half past because it was a walk to the school. Um, wasn't that far to walk, but it was, as I say, it was the thing. So I also always catch the start of the episodes, and this was before the time of like pause and record, or I'll
yeah,
Sky Plus that. You either videotaped it, but the thing is, though,
You missed it.
videotapes in my house were used for movies, so we never used to videotape TV shows and stuff like that. So it was whenever you could catch them. So you used to get like reruns on a weekend. So I used to like watch the first half and go, "Oh, it's amazing," but you never used to see the Zord fights till
yeah,
later on. My brother, he was more into it because he was a little bit younger. So when it come to like the show, I was just on the cusp of watching the first season. Not like I enjoyed it, but I never loved it. I enjoyed the movie more because, again, it was very different to the TV show, but it was
yeah,
more adult in a way in certain
yeah.
aspects, but still kiddie wise in a way.
Rewatching it back, I was very, very surprised over the adult themes that were in it. Um,
Mm,
there were some moments I was like, oh, I don't remember this as a kid. It went very much over my head. Some of the moments,
mm,
especially like when Ivan Ooze sent the parents off, and
mm,
when Zordon, that moment with Zordon at the end before they brought him back, and there were
mm.
moments I was like, I do not remember watching it and being traumatized like this. No.
No,
But yeah, I think it's one of those films that I think you can enjoy it as a kid, and then you kind of watch it back as an adult. And if you enjoy Power Rangers as much as me, it's
yeah.
still great film.
Yeah.
Mm. I think I loved it for the toy range as well, because at the time, like I know the collector here, um, when it came, I don't think you get the buzz as you do now compared to what you used to get, because every Christmas there used to be the one toy set or the one things where you had to get, like the turtle craze was crazy. Like people won't know how hard it was getting them Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle toys. Like I say, the
Power
same with the
Rangers
Power
was it.
Rangers. It
Mm,
was a nightmare. Like you could get one, but you could never get the set. Like Joseph's in Sunderland. That'll be. It's not the pub that where it's got all the dodgy people, but it used to be a toy shop. That used to be you
Yeah,
had to
the
try and go
best
in,
toy shop.
and try and get in. Like we weren't lucky to get to Toys R Us because Toys R Us was always like near the Metro Centre, which was
Oh, that was a
a day
treat.
out. Yeah,
That
it was a
that
treat.
was an absolute treat. Like that was a
Yeah.
birthday. That was just
Mm,
a actually that was just a birthday trip.
yeah.
Was
I
Toys R
think
Us.
the last big toy craze that I can remember, again, this is probably just showing me age, was Toy Story. Like to
Buzz
get a Buzz and
Lightyear.
a Woody, that
yeah,
was the last time I remember the shops going absolutely ape shit
That
over
was
it.
that was another of my 1995 timeline. Toy Story
Mm,
came out.
right.
But yeah, Buzz Lightyear. I will never forget that Christmas when everyone wanted a Buzz Lightyear, and then I think it turned into like Furbies or something the following
yeah.
year because
And then Tamagotchis.
yeah, I've got like younger
Oh God,
cousins.
you've probably Khalil jump back in. You've said the T word now.
I'm
Yeah, she'll be
sorry.
back. Yeah, I've got younger cousins who were into shit like that.
Mm,
And they were the ones who, because I would have been what I was 12 when the movie came out. So and
mm,
they're all like 6 years younger than me, 8 years younger than me. So they were the ones who were really into Power Rangers.
Yeah,
I
mm.
just, had to knock around my cousins, so I just play Power Rangers with them.
It's weird
Um,
when it comes to like this how they sell toys and stuff like that. Because I'm like when I was younger than that, to get hold of like certain figures was so easy. Like He-Man, Thundercats, you couldn't like you could just go to the toy shop and like pick up literally any type of model. Like the Thunder Tank was so accessible to get at the end times. But when the Power Rangers come out, like, I think Jake said like the Zords were impossible. You could not get like the Zords for Power Rangers for love of money.
yeah.
mm,
I don't
yeah.
think they I don't think they estimated how big Power Rangers were going to become.
Mm.
I do not think they estimated it properly. I think they had no idea what they had on their hands and how
No.
big it would become so quickly.
I think with
And I don't
the
think
it's just popped up in the chat.
Shut up. Kelly, you don't disappoint mine, lady.
Sorry. The unusual thing about the toy line as well, I know we're going to conflate this because it blew my mind when you look at it. Like, toys in the 80s and the 90s were uniform size, uniform look. The Power Rangers came out and it changed everything. Like, they weren't the 6 inches. They were like
They
12.
were giant.
They were
yeah.
a lot bigger, a lot more detailed. They started bringing the new wave of the more detailed and photorealistic toys we get. Because at the time, if you remember, like I think it was the Hasbro, or was it Hasbro or Mattel wrestling figures?
Has-
They were very
Yeah.
cartoonish and like not looking
Weird
like the
body
real figures.
shape.
After the Power Rangers came out, they start doing more realistic type looks for them type of things. I think the Power Rangers was the trendsetter for kind of more realistic and
It
not sitting to the uniform where people say,
yeah.
"Oh, I'm not going to
It
buy a toy if it doesn't fit this type."
it took away from the OG mold that is
Yeah.
used 100 times over
Mm-hmm.
in like in for cartoon toys, because I
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
do remember them being, they were bulky as well, so they were
Yeah.
durable. This arm wasn't going to break off just because you dropped it on the floor, like you would
Mm-hmm.
find with 100 Star Wars ones or even He-Man, and the shapes of them as well were
Mm-hmm.
proper
Mm-hmm.
shapes. It's
Yeah.
not,
Yeah.
because you can picture the He-Man figures and then you can picture the wrestling ones, and they are exactly anatomically the same, but
Mm-hmm.
which is wrong. They look so wrong.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But with the Power Rangers one, I do remember them being very bulky, very
Mm-hmm.
normal, but very tall, which was weird
Yeah.
because that's not how you like, my Ghostbusters weren't that big.
Yeah.
No.
I think that
How
was the Japanese influence. The fact
Right.
that they were
Okay.
Sentai and Bandai. I've got no proof, but that's my headcanon.
yeah, yeah,
Had on how we kind of got the toys that we did, because Bandai obviously created this
yeah.
whole cultural phenomenon
Mm.
around
Maybe we
Power
should have.
Rangers.
Maybe I should have went and watched the toys that made us to get a feel of it, because it always interests me, especially
Mm-hmm.
these type of films where you can tell where it's advertised for, where the advertisement's going to, who it's aimed for, which toy is potentially coming out of this film, and that
Mm-hmm.
side always really interests us. So I probably should have gone back and watched it just to familiarize myself with it. But I can picture them original
Mm-hmm.
figures because it was a
I've got
weird.
one. Obviously, if I'd thought about it, I would have grabbed it from Little One's bedroom. But yeah, I've got one of the pink. I've got the pink Power Ranger, and it's huge. It's about
Mm. Yeah.
Especially when they're like, I'm not even going to pull one of my Ghostbusters one out, because I pull
not
one,
worth it.
the whole thing's
Yeah,
coming
it's
down.
not worth
But
it.
they're about this big, they're
Yeah.
tiny, and
Yeah.
yeah, it was a sight for your eyes.
Mm.
What is
But no.
this? Why are our
But
toys getting bigger?
make it more realistic. But coming back to the movie a little bit as well, like again, I know we made jokes about it, but this was the first time we saw like a proper CGI fight because like previously it was puppets in the TV show. It
Was
was
it?
interesting that they used like
Yeah.
kind of bugs. Yeah, the like it was puppets and everything in the TV show. There wasn't any CGI
It's
in
like
the
it's models and things like that.
yeah.
Oh, fucking okay.
It was like a man
Well,
in the suit fighting like Godzilla
Yeah.
style.
Yeah.
mind blown.
But in this, it was interesting. Like Ivan Ooze's monsters were like kind of insect kind of looking, which made kind of sense because, like I say, they are the things that's going to outlast most humans and animals. Is going to be the
Yeah.
insects, so it's kind of thing. But it was quite. It was just like well done until Ivan Ooze got into the suit, and that was the bit that kind of lost it. I was like, oh, you've done well. You should have left it at that. But
You've
yeah.
ruined it.
But with anything like say when you get big monsters fighting each other, it could have been just like two monsters fighting or two like a monster fighting a robot, but they kind of done a lot of destruction in the city as well, which was quite
Yeah.
entertaining to watch. But then they took it into space, and
Well,
This is pre 2001 when Power Rangers decided that they were no longer going to show damage in the cities.
Yeah.
Oh, they made good choices then.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a shame some movie directors couldn't think on that later on.
Yeah.
I do like that they used a comet to try to destroy it as well.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, we can't destroy this by just like blowing it up. We're just going to get it in the path of a comet.
We're just gonna grab one
So they
out of
must have had
space.
great mathematical skills to get that exact trajectory and work out where the comet was going to be
Well,
exactly
they had
at that time.
Billy. They had Billy.
Yeah.
They had
Oh
Billy,
yes,
and
I forget Billy.
he was doing all the sums and stuff, and he
He
kept.
he looks so out of place in this movie. Like he didn't. There was just something very disconnect from him, even though like he's an OG, and I
I know,
recognized him
but he was nearly
instantly.
40 and he was being a high school kid.
I think
Was
that was
he?
because
No, I wasn't that old.
the glasses. I think it's
Yeah.
because he didn't have the glasses because he put his foot down and said, "I'm not having the glasses anymore." Because it's actually it was damaging his eyes. He had
Right.
glasses and then he was having to wear lenses as well, and
Right.
he kind of was like, "No, I'm not wearing it." And then it kind of crossed over to the show. But I
Mhm.
think this was the start of him being bullied because obviously later on he was badly bullied by the production crew and some of the actors.
Really?
Oh
I remember hearing something about this.
yeah.
Like he had a bad time on it, but I didn't.
Oh, it was horrid. Some of the stories that have come out of it. He was bullied for being gay.
Oh my
Right.
God.
Yeah. So you can imagine, like that's why he eventually left because he was just bullied out of the show. And in some of the scenes, you can kind of see it. You can kind of see that
He's so disconnected. He's
yeah.
not there at all.
Yeah.
And he's a brilliant person. Like some of the things that I've seen him do, and just the fact that he came back eventually, obviously for the final series of Power Rangers. Oh, I'm just so
It
glad that he
probably
came
speaks
back.
more to it probably speaks more to the people who he worked with and the
Yeah,
people who he was working for.
yeah,
And
Mhm.
also a fan base as well, which probably over the years is embraced him and made him feel because these actors they do go like David Jason Frank was constantly at a fucking convention. Like you
yeah,
couldn't get him out of them. So I
yeah,
could imagine he would be very much the same. And if he sees a fan base that truly appreciates him, no wonder he'll go back because it
yeah.
wouldn't be for him.
A lot of the actors and actresses from this kind of era didn't do conventions until 7, 8 years ago. A
Mm.
lot of them because of how badly they were treated. The only people that were doing it was um Jason David Frank. He was literally the
You
only
couldn't get him out of
person.
them.
No. And obviously then a lot of the later Power Ranger actors, but he's the only one out of the sort of the
Yeah. I
original
was
ones that did
actually
it.
I was actually at Liverpool Comic Con when the news broke
Oh
about him,
yeah,
which was it was a tiny bit of a gut punch. It was like, oh,
yeah,
a childhood
Mhm.
crush. Wow,
yeah,
okay.
100%. I was at the Stadium of Light Christmas fair, and I can literally remember me and my friend who's more obsessed with Power Rangers than I am.
Mhm.
We were literally messaging back and forth, just like, oh my god, what's happening? Like, what's happened?
Yeah,
All the
it's
news that
like
was coming, we were like stunned.
I think
Yeah.
that we were taught that in our group chat it was very much, oh, it's rumors, nothing's been confirmed.
Yeah,
And then the news started filtering in through the
yeah,
convention hall, and that I think had to go on an actual website to like
yeah,
something to confirm it. But my God,
Yeah.
and it was a bit of a gut punch that one.
yeah.
And I always remember the Red Ranger. I can't remember what his name is.
Austin St. John,
Yes,
the
that's it.
Jason. Yeah.
Yes, I always remember his message where he said, "We didn't get on, we weren't
God,
friends,
God, they didn't know.
but hey,
Yeah.
I fucking respected him."
Yeah,
Like, and I have
Mhm.
enough respect to honor him. And oh, it's just
yeah,
it was a lovely. It was really honest.
yeah,
Like he could have said nothing at all,
yeah. 100%.
or he could have like you know. I just thought it was a nice message.
Yeah,
I thought it was quite big of him.
yeah.
Mhm. Just
Sorry
because I
to
was
take
doing
it
a
down that dark
calculation as
route.
well. No, it's fine. I was just doing a calculation because I know I made a joke before about Billy being 40. He was actually 30 in this movie. So,
Really?
yeah,
How
Yeah,
so
old
he
was
wasn't quite a
Amy Jo
teenager
Johnson?
there.
Because Amy Jo Johnson, she just again her acting it was terrible. Like you kind of sugarcoated, but again, very disconnected,
Mhm.
very not there. You could tell the Yellow Ranger was new.
Yeah.
yeah,
because she was very fucking eager, very
Yeah.
keen, enthusiastic. The Red Ranger, I don't know, he looked bored half the time. Like he really
he
looked bored.
he was the only one nominated for an award for this
Shut
movie.
For this
up. What?
movie?
Yeah,
What?
he was the only person that was nominated for an award. Something I think it's like the
Was it a
Young
raspberry or
Person's
something?
Award. No,
The
that
Razzies.
I don't think that existed then.
No, the Razzies would definitely exist
Were they?
then. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah, no,
Oh
he was the
God.
only one who was nominated for any type of award.
so I'm going to ask a question now. So
Wow.
take away the dinosaurs
Right.
aspect, because
Okay.
Becca said that her favorite is the animals, so we're going to stick with the animals.
Okay.
So if you were going to have a signet or
Oh.
a creature that was connected to you, what would you want, or what do you think would you choose?
What suits you best? Because the chat were actually doing this earlier when we were
Right.
talking about it. I'll just scroll on up while Becca's having a think. Because
I'm asking you as well,
so,
Sammy.
oh yeah, I know. I've already got mine. Beth was as a wolf.
Right.
Dave was a badger. Jake's just saying I'm a frog.
He's just said he's a
Dunno.
crocodile
He's
now.
just
Kelly's
oh,
a
he's a
honey badger.
crocodile. Honey badger. I like that. Someone said a sloth. Catherine possibly said a sloth.
Right.
Chris said a
Chris is a
giraffe.
giraffe.
Yeah, whatever, Chris.
Yeah, right, okay.
Whatever. Little field mouse, more like. I know mine.
Okay,
Yep.
you say yours because I'm still thinking.
A goat.
A goat?
That's
Yeah.
a good one.
Have you not seen
Why?
how
Because you eat
obsessed I
everything
am
and you're
with
always
goats?
chewing on something.
Yeah.
And you're
I
annoying as
love.
hell.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't care. Chris knows my fascination with goats because anytime I get a goat video on TikTok, I send it to him. I'm obsessed with them.
Right.
I love them. They're just so playful. Don't give a shit. Yeah, I'm a goat.
Right.
Thanks,
a
Kelly.
rabbit.
A rabbit.
You're a rabbit.
Yeah.
What? Do you not think like Watership Down was enough? Like,
No,
I
a
went through
rabbit.
some hardship, mind.
I own rabbits, so you know.
You know how vicious and nasty they can
Yeah.
be.
They can.
Oh,
That's true. That's true.
100%. That back kick. That would be amazing in the Zord.
Oh, quick.
What about you, Paul?
I'm just laughing at Phoebe seeing a mammoth, a posh animal, of course. Chris,
She didn't.
she did.
Phoebe, you don't do yourself any favors.
He's a monkey because he wants to throw poo at everyone.
Right.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a difficult one. 'Cause, like the easy thing answer would be a cat, because you know how soft I am with the. I was going to say
Yeah.
something creepy there, but I was getting no. I'll be good.
No.
With the cats.
You want 3 of them. Let's be kind.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. Probably a duck-billed platypus. Just because I'm that awkward.
No, I
And
like
I'm funny looking as well.
I think that'd be a good one.
Oh, I actually could have put money on that being one of your picks, to be honest.
Oh no, she said mammoth. I read it wrong. Sorry, not a mammoth. I was like, all right, I'll let you a mammoth.
Oh, that's not. Oh, but I must
That's
have read
not
it
posh.
exactly the
I
same.
totally read it wrong too.
Yeah, the dyslexic failed us there.
Yeah, we all had.
God damn you, dyslexia.
We'll just put it in
moment then.
Phoebe's accent. That's why it wasn't just like a.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
needs to learn more northern slang.
Perry.
Perry. Yeah, that's some good choices. Yeah, I like them.
So I'm gonna. This is gonna be quite contrasting now, because we haven't done this year. We haven't done it yet. We haven't done it for a movie in 2025.
Are you gonna rate it? Jesus.
Let's rate the movie.
Ooh,
Let's.
Yay!
Oh hey.
Let's
Hey.
not use.
I was.
Sorry, what was that, Becca?
No. I was gonna say, if this was an episode of Fleetcast, I would have scored it. I would have scored it 4.5 Ivan Oozes.
Right, 4.5.
Okay. Well, we can't do halves because Jake will go crazy over an algorithm. So
Okay. Sorry,
yes,
Jake.
So, like I said, 2025. First, I'm not going to say a ranking because another other web series has the copyright for that. We're going to rate it. So
how many nerds out of 5?
4 because I'm not allowed my half.
No, 4.
No.
4 Ivan Oozes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
How
gonna
many?
go for two.
Two.
Two Ivan Oozes, two nerds, two.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna give it
it's
three because I say there was elements where there was full on eye rolls going on in this movie where I was like again, I don't think they were purposely wanted eye rolls in them parts. There were certain bits where the cheese factor was strong. The nostalgia and the memories of everything that comes with this movie, not just the movie, the TV show, and the toy range. I don't think you can forget about that when you're talking about Power Rangers. I think it would be doing it a
I think
disservice
that
if you
helps.
didn't. So
Yeah.
that would always get the extra marks. As an acting side, wow. Yeah, Ivan Ooze, the
Choices.
guy who played Ivan Ooze, was the only one that showed up and decided he wanted to make his money. But other than that,
100%.
it was fun. I enjoyed it today. I say that I did text Sammy saying I was falling asleep at certain parts, but again, there was certain bits where it come back and you just started laughing as well. But
But
yes,
I
I
just
would say
didn't. I just didn't tell him that I did actually fall asleep and woke up at the end. And I was like, do you
That's
know
okay.
what? Normally, I would go back and watch it, and I'm sorry, I couldn't. But you are right. It probably is more of a nostalgia thing. What are you laughing at?
I've just seen Lee kicking off in the chat.
Oh,
Yeah,
about Chris.
he's kicking off at me over Chris, and I'm
Yeah,
having to apologize. So I will publicly proclaim this. I'm sorry, Lee.
yeah, he's like, this isn't Fleetcast, Becca. You've already stole Chris. You're not stealing Nerdy
Oh,
Up North.
you stole his grump away from him.
He can have him back. I've not stolen anyone.
If
I mean,
you
you did stream them on
leaving
Friday
now,
as well.
you're
It's
taking
Because Lee
away the
didn't turn
best
up.
part of me.
You can
Ooh.
have your bromance. I am not here to destroy the family. I am
Yeah.
trying to keep the family
You
together.
homewrecker. Becca, who are you?
She's like, all
This is
innocent kid. Why? I just wanted to talk
So
about Power
she's like,
Rangers.
I've just done
Now
a
I've
whole
now we've
week
got a
of
whole
content.
civil war over Chris.
I've just done a whole week's of content, and look what's happened.
So Lee, to mark your territory, you've got to piss on Chris. So you've got next time you see Chris, you've got to piss on
Oh,
his
just
leg,
don't do
and
it
then he
anywhere
is
near
yours.
us, will you? Deal in private. Don't need to see it. Well, that went off the rails very quickly. Yeah, Power Rangers.
Yes.
Really happy I don't have to watch it ever again.
Oh,
But
are you not going to watch
I
it again?
no.
No.
That's understandable. You know, my yum is not necessarily your yum. So you know,
Yeah.
Yeah, but
exactly.
like I was saying earlier, it is a nostalgia thing that will probably make you go and watch it again because you will remember how I didn't have that because I didn't
Yeah.
watch it back then. I am gonna watch the most recent one though with him from Stranger Things in.
Yeah, I would love to know your views on that when you've watched it though.
I remember
'Cause,
watching it. I have seen it before, and I actually did.
I
I
think it
didn't mind
stands
it.
up. I think it got a
I didn't
lot
mind
of.
it.
I don't know why it got hate. Like I don't know. I don't understand it.
it's OG fans not liking the new styling.
Right, because
That's
I thought
100% what it is.
I thought Elizabeth Banks, who played Rita Repulsa, was fucking amazing. Like
Yeah,
Elizabeth
up
Banks
there.
was amazing.
It's literally just the fact that it doesn't look like it belongs in 1995.
But look at me. I
But
don't belong in 1995.
Yeah.
but look at but Stranger Things
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't get people, but never mind. Yeah,
No.
I'll be watching that very soon.
Yes. So, nerds, thank yous for taking part and being involved as much in the chat. Like, it's been a joy. Just to say as well, we have had a lot of content out recently, and there's still a lot of content to come. So if you haven't checked out from Friday, well, we did a few trailer reactions last week where we saw Sammy becoming Marvel Girl or Galactus Girl when we reviewed when we checked out the the Fantastic Four First Steps trailer, which was entertaining. Then we had
It was something.
me, Phoebes, and Chris doing the Jurassic World Rebirth trailer, which had a lot of dinosaurs. Just be wary. I had to turn the sound off for the Jurassic Park trailer to be on YouTube because I didn't like it. YouTube told us it was naughty, so yeah, that was interesting. Also, we did an 80s trailer reaction on Friday where me, Becca, Sammy, and Chris watched lots of 80s trailers. I was surprised with them. Some movies like Earth Girls of Easy. Sammy didn't know what was happening. High Spirits still doesn't believe it's a movie. It is. And we saw the
No,
Ghoulies.
it's not like that one where you try to convince everyone that it's a movie by putting
Teaching
a
Miss Tingle
poster up.
is a movie.
I saw a trailer for this, so I genuinely believe that's a movie. I still don't believe the other one is.
Yes.
What's the other one?
Ghoulies.
No, the
Teaching
movie.
Mrs. Tingle. They don't think it's real. It is
not.
it is a real movie.
It's not, Becca. It's not.
It's got what's it called?
You try to convince everyone by putting a poster up.
Katie Holmes is in it. Yeah. When she wasn't being kidnapped by Scientologists, it was before that stage.
Before the Dawson?
Before Dawson? No, it was during Dawson. It was during Dawson.
Oh.
Dawson's Creek had happened. It was when she hadn't been hypnotized and manipulated by Tom Cruise and his little sex cult. Also, we had two things come out over the weekend. We had Countdown to Doomsday. We had Iron Man 3. Sammy and Jake took the movie to task and told them their thoughts and done a watch along. Then we have the wonderful Women of Nerd Culture doing what they do best, talking about fantasy. And no, David Duchovny and the Red Shoe Diaries wasn't mentioned, which I was quite disappointed. Like, we're going to talk about fantasy.
Watch it tomorrow.
But that's been spoiled.
That came out. And tomorrow, what have we got tomorrow that's hit our screens?
Tomorrow, you're in for a treat because we're doing Late Night with the Devil. Yeah. New Monsters episode. Sorry, I missed a week. I was dead, apparently. So yes, we're back with Late Night with the Devil. Watch it.
Yes.
Because watch the realization of me and how badly I don't pick things up in movies. Because you will watch the progression of me going, all right, okay, yeah. I totally missed the point of this film completely. If I didn't watch YouTube videos beforehand, I would have gone on that episode and talked about something completely different.
Right.
Yeah.
So I completely missed some of the plot, some of the point, some of the context. So yeah, watch me unravel as I talk about Late Night with the Devil.
Which is interesting because Late Night with the Devil was one of my top picks for the movie of last year. Honestly, one of my favorite films. Then we've got the top. No, we've got the top grumps coming back on your screen on Tuesday. They're doing Cthulhu. So they're ranking Cthulhu.
I'm so glad you said that because obviously dyslexic eyes just went, what's them letters?
So if you saw me Facebook Live or me TikTok Live earlier, when I was trying to produce what people think, my impression of Cthulhu was this. Woo! So yeah, so doing Cthulhu. So that's my impression. Yeah, Zoidberg. A little bit.
Sounds like.
Yeah.
Zoidberg.
Zoidberg.
I love that.
Yes. And then me and Chris have an episode, a special episode out on Wednesday. So yes, there's a lot of shit out. Where we did an episode, it's coming out at lunchtime again. We've reviewed Creature Commandos. I keep getting the word wrong. The new cartoon by Disney, where it's instead of the Suicide Squad, they're using the Monster Squad. So yes, that was quite interesting.
Yes, still not watched it.
Hopefully this week as well. I was meant to watch it when it was
poorly.
Yes, hopefully this week as well, we will be launching Jake's new Rumble cast as well. So that keep your eyes on a lot of different things. And yes, Kelly, you will be coming back as well soon because we're reading it, and Sammy isn't enjoying it.
Yeah, she asked us last night how I was getting on, and I was very honest with her. It's a hard one. But I'm still determined to give it a good fucking try. So there is a few episodes out this week, which means there'll be a few episodes released on audio on Monday night. That'll be Monsters, Women of Nerd Culture, and Nerdy Up North. After 6 o'clock, they'll be available, but obviously keep an eye out on posts. If you are on YouTube, please remember to like this video, share it if you like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode of anything that we do. Never miss it.
And just want to say a big thank you to the community as well. I know, like I said, sometimes it's never forgotten, but I when we reach out and say, do you want to get involved, or do you want to do something? The amount of people that have regarding the website and submitting things like short
It's crazy.
stories, reviews, articles, it's been overwhelming. I'll be honest with you. Like some of the stuff and all the work that's been put in is such a high quality. I'm honestly like blown away. Like honestly, if you haven't checked out, go to www.nerdyupnorth.co.uk. There's a lot of content there. There's a lot of things we've shared. There's a lot of information. Check out Joe's new quiz as well. Me, Chris, and Lee guested on it. Honestly, was one of the funniest things ever. And don't ever believe anything that Chris says. He is the best liar that I have ever known. But yeah, like anyone who wants to submit any work, write anything, tell us what you love. Like if you want to review like a meal you've had, a song you've listened to, an album, a book you've read,
This
a
green
game
nail
you've played,
varnish. Just
anything
do
that
it.
anything that you want to like you feel passionate about, send us something through. And these guys will tell you there's nothing like the feeling you would ever
No, it's
have
not.
as having some of your work published online on a website for anyone to read. It's quite
Yeah.
liberating. It's quite a special
It really
feeling.
is. It really is. It's a place for your creativity to blossom, because maybe this is something that you've been wanting to do for such a long time and you've been so nervous about it. We are completely open here. We are, we're not critical. What you put out there is your passion, and we want to get behind that. Paul has done a fantastic job on this website, and to be honest, it's slightly a bit emotional, because this initially how it was going to start out. Like this was nothing. We didn't even think about doing anything along these lines. Of the website was where Nerdy Up North was aiming to be, or what it was planning to be. And now that Paul's managed to grow that and people are actually getting excited and on board with it, it's not crazy. It's fucking fantastic. So thank you, Paul, for putting that out there. I did try to sound so sincere at the end. I'm sorry, it just doesn't come out that way.
It's fine. Becca, have you got anything you want to promote? Because I know you do a lot for Nerdy Up North, but you do a lot for other stuff
got
as
your
well.
own
So tell
shit,
us about
man.
you as well.
Yeah, so I run another podcast. Well, I
You
kind of
what?
heard a lot of kittens in this podcast. So we spotlight some of the games across Obsidian Fleet, which is Chris mostly doing at the moment, because he has taken that bad boy and he is running. He is like 3 episodes ahead. And we're practically into March with the stuff that we've already filmed. I do a little bit of the reviewing on the side, and we're going to be doing a rewrite series. So we're going to be taking episodes from X-Men, Star Trek, and Power Rangers and rewriting them.
Ooh.
We're not sure on the format
That's
yet.
interesting.
Yes. So I'm considering it might be a game show type thing. But we're gonna have a look into it. And I'm gonna talk to a few people and see how we're gonna do it. But we should be doing the first episode on March the 1st at Kitchener. So I've got a convention.
Interesting.
Yes, because I also help organize a online convention for Star Trek. So that's March the 1st.
Gee, hell, Becca, calm down. You make us all look bad.
No, I could
Why
never
do you
make
think
you guys
I've been
bad.
proactively trying to steal Becca in every form for Nerdy Up
I
North?
could steal her. I could steal her.
We want Becca for her own. We're going to get her to sign a contract to say that she is the property of Nerdy Up North.
Officially Nerdy Up North's. Nobody else can have her. Copyrighted, TLC, LTD.
Because we could do a trade. I'll trade Chris for Becca. They can keep Chris and we can keep Becca.
No.
I'm happy with that.
Chris, just know that me and Becca do not want that.
It's part of a trade deal.
Trade off.
That's not how it works, Paul. You cannot trade human beings.
But Chris is not human. He hasn't got working pancreas.
Chris, right. Don't listen to them, okay? Don't listen to Paul. He's being very mean. Me and Sammy love you and want you here, okay?
Chris is like, eh?
Chris, it's just like an episode of The Traitors. You just have to go with the flow.
God, I've got to go watch that. I need to finish the episode that I was watching. It's become my life recently.
Oh my god, the whole chat's turned on you.
It's fine.
Me?
Not me. It's fine.
Okay.
That's how I play it. Like I say, I want to be the bad
Whoa,
guy.
Lee! Can Becca do top grumps with me then? So
Yeah,
you willing
I'll
to
do
trade
top.
Chris out?
I'll do top grumps. I'll be Mrs. Top Grump.
Mrs. Grump. Mr. and Mrs. Grump.
Oh my god!
Well, I've seen the video
Okay.
of Mr. Grump
Oh,
when he comes in and gives the thing. So
alternate universe. You swap out one women of nerd culture or one wonk for a grump, and you just do an episode.
You might already find that that's already in the works.
oh
Well, look at me, thinking I've got brilliant ideas.
No, we've already got things in the works.
but yes.
Oh, well.
Anything
But
else
yeah,
you
my
want to add?
ideas.
it's a grand idea. We already thought of it, but it is a grand idea.
Yes,
just
so
leave you guys to it. Oh,
also we
Chris,
haven't even mentioned next
behave.
week's episode. Next week's
What is
episode
it?
is going to be a really interesting one. So just got to do this. Got the tash ready. We're doing Tombstone, so everyone has to have the best tashes in place for
Hey,
next week.
I looked at the cast of that today. That is a
Oh,
cast.
it is a film and a half.
That is a cast. Before we go, make up with Chris, please.
Why is he upset?
This
He
is
just
I'm
said
just
worse
letting you
things
guys
about
do
him.
it. Rise above it, Chris. The cream always rises. All right, Macho Man.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Bone
say,
saws ready.
Chris, Wonk had your back then. Just putting that out there. Wonk would never do that to you. Okay, just
Hang on a
saying.
minute.
To be fair though, I've been really nice to both Chris and Lee this week because poor Lee's grafted his arse off. Chris has took a week off, so he just deserves a little bit of crap. And he abandoned us last night in the watch along. Lee came and sat with us. Chris just popped in to see what what we were doing because he got FOMO every 5 minutes because he didn't want to feel like he was left out. And then he didn't even want to join in and watch Moonshiners with us last night. Yes. So and Becca got to experience Moonshiners yesterday. So yes, let's have a recap on Moonshiners. So how did you feel about Moonshiners, Becca?
Oh yeah, it was interesting. I don't think delving straight into 2020 season was probably the best. I probably could have started the season before that. But it was interesting. I've got a lot of comments that I probably can't say on this podcast. So it's definitely interesting.
Okay. Sorry for our audio listeners. The chat is going crazy. Everyone wants Paul to say something nice to Chris. Chris is not listening, but is checking in to see if he's been nice. Yeah, you been nice.
Oh,
well, oh, what has happened? What has happened tonight?
I'll say it this way. Like, because Jake will moan that I don't say anything nice about him. So I would like to say, on record, that Chris, Lee, Jake, and Sammy are 4 of my best friends. There we go.
Aww. If you didn't include me with that, we would have had words.
That's what I'm dealing. Look at the narcissism I've got to deal with on a daily basis with these people.
Oh, shut up, man!
Don't
You've known
leave
us
me
for
out of
fucking long
anything.
enough. You've known us for long enough.
But yes, I love you guys. I know I torture you, but to be fair, most of you deserve it. But anyway,
I mean, it's yeah. See, we ended on a nice note.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Stay nerdy, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Big waves, Becca. Bye.
Bye.